A time that I felt mistreated because of my skin tone. All right, so there's one situation in high school where I was talking to this one girl, and her and I became pretty close, started to like each other, and it came to a point to where like I wanted to be with her. Her father would not let her be with me as I was quote unquote half black. So even after I expressed like all my care for her, I was not allowed to date her because of my skin tone, because of my color, my race. But he didn't even know me, so he was like basically pre-assuming that I was somebody else or acted a certain way because of my skin tone, and it was all because I was half black.
Sir, get on the ground. Hold up, sir. I told you to stay. Your ass is down on the ground. Y'all keep standing there and run your mouths. You're gonna go too. Get out of here. I already told you. I don't care.
Don't call me racist in front of the white kids, and I'm not angry just because I'm black. Well, one time when I was in high school in 10th grade, I was taking this college 105 class, and I only had really one friend in there. Her name was Brianna, so I sat with her. And from the beginning of class, the teacher always had some type of underlying issue with me. Like, you know, when the teachers was like, class be quiet, and then look directly at you. We got down to a point where she assigned this autobiography family tree project. So what the assignment was, basically make a family tree, all your, not extended family, but your close family members, and write a one-page autobiography about your life. So that's what we did. We're doing a project, we're asking questions, and I want to make sure I get a good grade. So I'm like, so you sure I don't need to put in my grandparents? He was like, yeah, I'm sure, don't do that. Just do your mom, dad, and your sister and brothers. We do the project, turn it in, we get our grades back, and I get a 95, but my friend Brianna gets a 65. So everybody's wondering, how Brianna get a 65? She's usually good with her grades. The teacher tells her it's because she didn't add in extended family. So I speak up, not being disrespectful, I'm like, well, miss, you said we didn't have to include extended family because I didn't include extended family and I got a 95. And she was basically telling me like I need to lower my voice and my tone's a little violent. And I was like, well, I don't see how I'm being violent. I'm just saying like, this is going to affect her grade, and it's not fair that you're giving her a 65 for something that we all didn't do. So she told me to go sit down or get out of her class. So I left her class. So then I came back the next day. When I came back in, I sat next to my friend Brianna. Again, that's where I sit. And she told me to get up and move. I was like, why do I have to move? And she was like, just get up and move. I don't want to hear any back talk from you. I don't want to hear any tone with you. Just get up and move. I was like, why do I have to move? This is where I sit. She's like, you're being racist right now because you're the only two black people in this class and you have to just sit with her. But the moral of the story is, don't call me racist in front of the white kids, and I'm not angry just because I'm black.
Hey, y'all feel me, man, okay?
In my English 110 class, we were having a discussion for our in-class essays about what we wanted to talk about. And somebody brought up the discussion about prostitution. So everybody was putting their own input in about the situation. And I asked if prostitution and strippers were the same thing. Like, would you consider them the same thing? So my teacher, which is an African-American teacher, asked me, you must have been a stripper. So I'm like, no. What would make you assume that I've ever been a stripper? So he goes on to say, you must have been a slut. Where this went on, I don't know where this would have came from. Like, he calls me a slut in front of the whole class and everybody hears it. So they're like looking at me like, did he just say that, or, you know, whatever. So at this point, I'm upset. I'm ready to like get up, walk out of the class, but I didn't walk out of the class because I was like, well, I'm not just going to leave, even though I had the right to leave. So at the end of class, I told him that I didn't appreciate the way that he kind of called me out because of, you know, whatever, calling me a slut, basically. So he apologized, but at that point, apology wasn't going to work for me because you shouldn't have called me that in the beginning. Like, I'm the only black student in this class, so of course I felt offended because everybody else was putting their inputs in, but you didn't say anything to them, but you decided to say something to me.